Good evening and welcome to the City Council meeting scheduled for Tuesday, September 26th. Can we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Beagle,
I'm present.
Deputy Mayor Resnick,
Present.
Councilmember Behrman,
Present.
Councilmember Gotchel,
Here.
Councilmember Grenlund Fox, here, Councilmember Sharp,
Present.
Councilmember Smiley,
Here.
quorum present.
Thank you. Changes or additions to the agenda as presented tonight. City Manager?
I have none, sir.
Assistant City Manager?
I have none, sir.
Any from the dais? Very good. Seeing none. Brings us to the first item tonight of business, and that's the presentation, and that's the affirmation of oath for Sergeant Aaron Brenneman. Chief Langmeyer?
Good evening. This is another big night for the PD. Very proud to be here in front of you tonight. Introduce you to our new sergeant, Aaron Brenneman. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron grew up in the Pinckney, Michigan area. He graduated from Pinckney High School in 2008. Bit of an athlete in high school. Okay. After high school, he went to Olivet College where he played football, and earned his bachelor's of arts degree in criminal justice. Aaron attended the Washtenaw Police Academy, and after the academy, he was hired by the Huron-Clinton Metro Parks Police Department. In 2016, we were very fortunate to bring Aaron on board here at Wixom PD. In his time at Wixom, he's proven to be just what I would call a great cop. He knows what he's doing out there. He's also one of our field training officers. Aaron's been a big part in all of these new people that we have working here and making sure they're trained properly and on the road. During all of this time, he's done a great job teaching and mentoring these new kids, and he's proven to us that he's ready for the next step in his career. I'm proud to promote him to the rank of sergeant tonight. So thank you.
Who's with him tonight?
Aaron, want to introduce you?
Yeah, I have my wife Samantha, my mom Cindy, and my dad Jay. I, Aaron Brenneman, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Michigan, and the Charter and ordinance of the City of Wixom, Oakland County, Michigan, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties and responsibilities as a sergeant according to the best of my ability. I will. Congratulations, sir.
Why don't you stand and put a pin in this guy's tongue?
You're welcome. With that, we'll take a brief recess for reception. All right, moving on. Approval of minutes. We've got one set of minutes to approve tonight. That's from the regular city council meeting of September 12th, 2023. So a motion? Or any corrections, additions, deletions, comments? Seeing none, I've got a motion and a second to approve the regular city council meeting minutes of September 12th, 2023. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. No correspondence tonight, so that moves us to the first call to the public. The rules to the call to the public are as follows. The public shall address the council during call to the public, which shall be included on the agenda immediately after correspondence, and again immediately after new business. The first call to the public immediately after correspondence shall be limited to agenda items only. A person shall not address the council in excess of 5 minutes unless the time is extended by a majority vote of the council present. Persons wishing to address the council shall identify themselves and their place of residence and shall state their reason for addressing the council, and all comments by the public shall be made directly to the council. Do we have anybody for the first call to the public? Seeing none, I'll close the first call to the public and move on to city managers' reports. We have the departmental reports from August 2023. Any questions? Deputy Mayor Resnick?
Maybe just a question for Mr. John. I see that August report, there were no fats, oil, and grease violations. Does this mean that the traps are being installed in these facilities, or?
That is correct, or they're getting them cleaned on schedule like they're supposed to and staying compliant.
Is that the first time,
Yeah.
first that I can remember? When we actually
There's
did
somebody
that?
that exceeds it, and so I was very surprised when the results came.
Hey! Oh, I'm sorry.
That's great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Grunlow Fox.
Thank you. I have a question for Mr. Benson's economic development report. Thank you. A lot of information in here. Was wondering if there was any news or anything in the works, and if you can't say exactly what it is, I understand, but for the CVS at Charms and Wilson.
We have been having conversations with the new property owner over there. My understanding is the entire complex is sold, CVS is leaving. They have an idea for a new use there, might involve some kind of changes to the site. So we've had those conversations. They have not formally applied for anything yet. My understanding is the uses they'd be looking at would likely require planning commission. So more to
They
come.
require what, I'm sorry?
Planning commission approval.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Anybody else? All right, seeing no more questions, we'll move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda, all listings under the consent agenda are considered routine by city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the items will be removed from the consent agenda and added to the regular agenda at the end of unfinished or new business. Do I have a motion?
So move?
Support?
Very good. I got a motion and a support to approve the consent agenda as presented tonight. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. It moves us on to new business number one. We have no unfinished business tonight, so we'll move on to new business number one, which is a recommendation to approve the early voting site agreement for election services between Oakland County and the Charter Township of Commerce, the City of Walled Lake, and the City of Wixom, and authorize City Clerk Catherine Buck to sign the agreement. Do I have a motion?
Support.
All right, this is something that's kind of basically routine. It's something that we're going to have to do, and so this is the procedure that we have to do, so we're good with it, correct?
I'm very good with that, yes.
All right, very good. Any questions? Councilmember Gatto?
Thank you. In reading the report and everything, I know it said that the county's picking up the majority of the costs, right? We would just be accountable for overtime?
Yes.
for employees?
Yes, and a third of the election workers after the February or March, depending on after the presidential primary.
Okay. Is there, since this is an agreement with other cities, and we've done similar, other agreements with the same cities before, and some cities have chosen to back out of those agreements, do we foresee that becoming an issue here? I mean, I understand it's state law that they have to do this, but do we foresee any circumstance, or is there any clawback that keeps Walled Lake in this, where we don't end up having to split their portion with Commerce?
No, they could back out with a 30-day notice.
Okay.
I don't think they would, but I don't know.
Okay. All right. And then, are there any additional funding sources that you're aware of to help cover costs, since this is a new program? Is the state putting out any money directly to cities to help with salaries and wages?
No.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, I got a motion and a second to approve the recommendation to approve the early voting site agreement for election service between Oakland County and the Charter Township of Commerce, the City of Walled Lake, and the City of Wixom, and authorize City Clerk Catherine Buck to sign the agreement. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. New business number 2 is a recommendation to adopt a resolution to accept the new streets of Monument Lane, Valor Way, Union Street, and Chambers East within the Encore development, and the placement of 3.347 miles of such streets into the city street system. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Sigma.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And what you have before you is the acceptance of several streets across Pontiac Trail here. In the Encore subdivision, this is one of the last projects that the Robertson brothers have completed in the downtown area. And they have met the qualifications of the roads that, according to our engineering design standards. And we're prepared to accept them at this time. Part of the acceptance will be to add them onto our Act 51 numbers. And I was just looking for that project. It would be roughly $4,900 a year for additional funding from the state for Act 51 monies for this particular subdivision. And we recommend accepting them at this time.
Good. Any questions? Councilmember Gacho?
Thank you. To share, I guess, with the rest of council, the Assistant City Manager Benson and I had a brief conversation about adding these to the city rolls, and the Act 51 funds coming in at just under $5,000 a year, which probably doesn't cover our costs when it comes time to replace them. But obviously they're public roadways and we want to take them on. But when we look at the extra 5,000, right now we have a winter maintenance agreement with that section, correct? Right now,
We had one. Yep.
So that covered our costs there. Does the 5,000? I don't recall the exact numbers of what we're bringing on that, but does this 4,900 cover our expenses basically?
Yes. Yes. 2,900 sticks in my mind,
Okay.
but there's a lot of things that stick in my mind. But yes, I think that's it does cover those expenses for sure.
Okay, so it doesn't obviously cover what it costs to replace, but at least we're not now losing money through a separate
Correct.
way of handling. Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else? Deputy Mayor Resnick.
Thank you. Mr. Sigma, I'm assuming from the width of these streets, they're similar to the Anthem subdivisions. Are the streets already properly signed for the parking only on one side of the street?
That I believe so. I would have to check that. That is another item that we would look at. Now that was all part. These particular streets are all part of the traffic studies for the subdivision as a whole. So that went through in planning, and that was several years ago. But
Right.
we would follow those guidelines or recommendations.
I know that we did some after the fact recently around the park there.
Yes.
In the Anthem tribute.
Yes. And those were, I think those were because they were kind of connected to separate, tribute and an anthem. They were kind of convoluted there, and I think that was missed during those traffic studies, but this one.
You might want to just check in.
I will, definitely.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, I got a motion and a second to approve the recommendation to adopt a resolution to accept the new streets of Monument Lane, Valor Way, Union Street, and Chambers East within the Encore development, and placement of .347 miles of such streets into the city street system. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Don't go too far, Tim. New business number 3 is a recommendation to renew the winter maintenance agreement with the Road Commission for Oakland County for $12,929.19 for Pontiac Trail from the western city limits to Beck Road and Loon Lake Road from Benstein Road to the eastern city limits by adopting the authorizing resolution and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the agreement. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Again, this is just a routine thing that we do every year.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And yeah, this is routine winter maintenance. It covers the salt and employee time for plowing Pontiac Trail and Loon Lake Road. We generally, we do this as a whole because of the needs of the community. We feel that we can get to these roads in particular sooner than Oakland County. Wixom Road is RCOC road as well, but that's a thoroughfare of other communities, so they will plow that one as one of the early ones along with our plowing schedules. So between the two municipalities, we've come to the agreement to do Pontiac Trail and Loon Lake east of the city limits to Benstein. Then we turn around and come back, so it's just a small portion there.
Very good. Any questions? Councilmember Graham Fox?
I support the agreement, however, I just have a question about the cost analysis. If you've done, I know we've been doing this for 20-ish years.
Yeah.
But the analysis as far as what we're paying as opposed to what we're getting.
Yep. No, I have done that cost analysis. I did not do it this year, but I have done that cost analysis in the past, and based on the average number of hours that it takes for us to do Pontiac Trail and Loon Lake Road, and also the cost of salt per ton of what we tend to apply to the roads during the season, we still cover our costs for that. And each year they do give an increase. And this year I think we have a 3% increase overall. So it does match our costs.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, I have a motion and a second to approve the recommendation to renew the winter maintenance agreement with the Road Commission for Oakland County for $12,929.19 for Pontiac Trail from the western city limits to Beck Road and Loon Lake Road from Benstein Road to the eastern city limits by adopting the authorizing resolution and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the agreement. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, new business number 4 is a recommendation to authorize participation in a Michigan Intergovernmental Trade Network to sell surplus city vehicles, equipment, and miscellaneous tools, and designate Russ Pearson as the authorized agent for the sale of this property. Do I have a motion?
Support.
Very good. Tim? And I see the top item on this list was brought up at the last meeting, so.
That was, and I did not want to waste any time on that. So what you have before you is the recommendation to auction off not only the old fire truck that is on the Gibson property, but also 3 vehicles that we have already replaced with new police cruisers. So what you have before you is those, and then also some miscellaneous equipment that we generally auction off this time of year.
Good. Councilmember Behrman.
Thank you. Quick move on the fire truck. Do we really think we can get $5,000 for that?
We are hoping to. We kind of base that on the weight of the steel that's on it. So we're hopeful. But
so if someone doesn't bid $5,000, we're keeping it. Unless I make other recommendations. My only concern is whether or not we can get $5,000 for that.
We can lower that without a problem.
Okay.
If you need us to.
And then the 3 police vehicles, are these the ones that were having issues with the water pumps? I thought the 19 were the better ones.
The 19s are typically the better ones. These are we are also having trouble with those. had several conversations with our maintenance staff on that. The ones that we bought last council meeting will be replaced by the 2020s. So once we get those, we plan to move those on as well, but that would be a different recommendation, hopefully in the spring.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilmember Gassion?
Thank you. You had mentioned with the fire truck, being able to reduce the minimum bid. Since we're voting on this and it says 5,000, do you need us to amend that, or can you just do it administratively?
I can do it administratively if you are in agreement.
Yeah, in terms of what you're going to ask for at the auction, you could, in other words, they're not going to require council action to do that, but you're going to put that information in.
You can do that.
Thank you.
Very good. Any other questions? Councilmember Sherb?
Thank you, Mayor. So excuse me if I missed something at the last meeting regarding the fire truck, but what's it been doing back there for 50 years?
Rusting.
Just like it's been in the last 5 years at the Gibson House.
Just sitting in the backyard? Is it like a touristy thing or? Well, the reason I'm asking, I was just like, have we talked to DDA? Are they interested in it? Is there something else we could do with it just to add some interest downtown somewhere?
Yes.
I know it's not a train. I had an opportunity to see a lot of train engines over the last few days in various Midwestern towns, and they all had these locomotives sitting in their city park, if you were riding the Amtrak Empire Builder like I was from Portland to Chicago over the last 2 days, everybody's got a big locomotive in their front yard or their city park, and they're all 90 years old or more, but it's just something that kind of talks about the history of the town. I know we're not really a firefighting town, that's not what we're known for, but is there anything else that could be done with it? I mean, it's been there 50 years, what's another 50?
Well, so we have talked with the school on Beck Road to see if they were interested in maybe restoring it or something like that. At one point, we tried to work a deal out with that. Yeah, it's definitely lost traction on that one. We had a restoration group that was interested temporarily for it. I sent them a number of pictures, and they had declined as well. We had talked different times with DDA, and they hadn't had as much interest in it as they had in the past, and also the Historical Society. And the thing with this particular one, it's a Ford truck with pumper applications on it. It's not necessarily built as a fire truck. So that is the real issue. If it were a Freightliner fire truck, it would maybe cast a different shadow.
So it's beyond the value, beyond the value both of historical interest. It's got no value because it wasn't really, it's a bad year for fire trucks, and it's a weird combination of.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. I support the motion.
Thank you.
Councilmember Smiley.
Thank you, Mayor Beagle. Hello, Jim.
Hi.
As I listened to you go on describing all the people that have rejected this fire truck, I'm starting to feel like this $5,000 might be a little ambitious. Good luck.
By weight.
Good luck. By weight, yeah.
Anybody else? All right, I got a motion and a second to approve the recommendation to authorize participation in the Michigan Intergovernmental Trade Network to sell surplus city vehicles, hopefully, equipment and miscellaneous tools, and designate Russ Pearson as the authorized agent for the sale of this property. Do I have a motion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Tim. And that concludes the business portion of tonight's meeting. And we move on to the call to the public. The rules to call to the public are the same as the rules to the public before, call to the public before, with the exception of you can speak whatever's on your mind. Would anybody like to come up for the first call or second call to the public?
Russ Meredith, 378 Fletcher. I'm also the current chair of the DDA I just wanted to call to your attention the outstanding support the DDA had this weekend from the police and fire department in helping us set up. The guys were great. They were walking around. People felt really happy and comfortable that there were officers and firefighters there. But I also want to commend the exceptional support we got from DPW. We could not do this thing without them. The guys were out there. They blocked off the roads with the trucks. They moved tents. They moved tables. They moved chairs. They set it up. They picked up trash. When it came time to take it down, they were there. Got it out there. We had Pontiac Trail back open probably within a half hour, 40 minutes of when we shut down. So could not expect better. So we just got such great employees in the city. They're part of the reason Wixom is such a great place to live. I just wanted to make sure you were aware of that. On the fire truck, at least from the chair's position, no. But thank you, Tim.
Thanks for the nice comments. I'll put our staff up against anybody. I've said that before and I'll say it again.
Yep.
All right. Anybody else for the call to the public? All right. I see 4 students in the back. And what we like to do during this time is we'll have you come up to the podium, give your name, address, tell us why you're here tonight. So come on up. Don't say that yet.
Hello, I'm Max Thompson. I live at 557 Starwood Drive. We all go to Lakeland High School, and we're here to complete a packet that our teacher gave us about this meeting.
All right. Whoa, wait, come on back.
Not done yet.
Another tradition we do is we'll have one of the council members ask you a question about government. We'll see if you can answer. So who's got a question? All right, Deputy Mayor Resnick?
Let's see. Today, there was a former president and current U.S. president in Michigan. Name them.
Ford. President Ford?
Ford? No.
I'm not sure that.
We'll see one of your colleagues when they come up.
All right, introduce yourself.
I'm Madison Thompson, 5578 Starwood Drive. That's my brother. I go to Lakeland High School, and I'm also here for the same reason.
Very good. Can you answer the question?
I cannot.
All right.
I don't know.
All
right.
We need the question, because half of it's got to be easy.
Half of it's got to be easy.
You should be able to get it.
Yeah.
Sitting U.S. president and a former U.S. president were in Michigan today. Name them both.
Former U.S. president?
And the current.
Joe Biden?
That's one.
One.
50%.
Okay. Another?
Who would he hang out most?
Yeah, who's his best friend?
Donald Trump.
Nice! Pulled it out of the fire.
All right.
No, that was very funny.
No, that was
Obama?
There you go.
All right. All right.
Hello, I'm Ben Bishop. I also go to 2367 North Duck Lake Road. I also go to Lakeland, and I'm also here for the same reasons.
All right, Councilmember Smiley's got a question for you.
I spoke with them briefly beforehand to check where they live. All 4 of you live in Commerce, correct? Okay. You're not sure? Well, anyway, this will be all. Any 4 of you can get this. I'll be very impressed because it's a hard question, even though it's much more local. Commerce has a supervisor, not a mayor. Can you name your mayor/supervisor?
Last name is a color.
A color?
And he's not a relative of mine, so you can eliminate that one.
It's okay. Most folks don't know. I wanted more so you would know. Your supervisor's name is Larry Gray. So next time someone asks you, you know where your supervisor is.
Hi. Hello. My name is Noah Tiernan. My address is 3580 Stallion Way. I also come from Lakeland, and I'm here for the exact same reason as these guys.
All right, do we have a question? Councilmember Gatchel.
Do you know which one of our U.S. senators is retiring after this term?
I couldn't tell you. I do not know.
Do you know who our U.S. senators are?
Can't say I do.
All Right.
It certainly is. It certainly is.
Debbie Stabenow was the correct answer, and Gary Peters is our other U.S. Senator right now.
Just, do either of you,
Something tonight.
do either of you know who your county commissioner is? Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Ajay Rahman. I represent Wixom, Walled Lake, part of Commerce Township, and part of Nomad.
Yeah, they're probably Chris Logs, though. They're
Yeah.
probably Northern Commerce.
Yeah.
Chris Log is
That's
probably
right.
your real
That's right.
commissioner.
They would know.
Thanks, guys, for coming up, introducing yourselves, and if you need a agenda or something signed afterwards, we'll come on up and we'll take care of that for you.
You're good
Thank-
sports.
Yep.
Thanks for having us.
Don't let that scare you.
Say good things about us tomorrow in class.
We will.
All right, city manager comments. City Manager Brown.
Thank you, Your Honor. City manager update, we just got 7 employees celebrating years of service to the city, ranging from 1 year on up to Sharon Savage, who's our deputy treasurer. Congratulations to her on having 17 years of experience in October. We also have a note on there that Crystal Opalco attended their Michigan Association of Municipal Clerks annual conference in June, and that helped her continue towards her Master Municipal Clerk certification that she's working on. So congratulations to her, as well as the employees celebrating their work anniversaries, and then there's various dates in the calendar for you to keep track of. And that's all that I had this evening.
Very good. Assistant City Manager Benson, anything?
I do, just 2 short things. One, very nice State of the Lakes event today. Props to our Mayor Pat Beagle on singing the praises of Wixom. I do think Supervisor Gray may have been a little jealous of all of the nice things that you had to say about what's happening at Wixom. But shout out to the Lakes Area Chamber for putting on that event and getting everyone together. It was a really nice event. Also, just wanted to echo some of the things Chairman Meredith said about the DDA's block party. It was a team effort, but my understanding it was our most successful block party yet. So just wanted to give kudos to Director Cloutier, the promotions committee and the team that put that together, as well as all of the staff that helped make that happen. It was a great success.
Very good. Thank you. Council comments. Councilmember Smiley.
Thank you, Mayor Beagle. Just a couple of comments. We've had a couple of family members pass away here in the city. Records manager Frank Hammond's mother and Tina Searles from accounting's mother. I'm very sorry to hear that. That's we hate when we hear those kind of things, but our thoughts and prayers are certainly with them and their families. Other than that, congratulations to Sergeant Brenneman that we got to have cake for earlier, and congratulations to Crystal on her accomplishment. That's all. Thank you.
Very good. Councilmember Gatchel.
Thank you. I also wanted to share my congratulations again to Sergeant Brenneman on his promotion, and condolences to Tina Searles and Frank Hammond for their recent losses. Then one thing that came to mind in the last few days as we get into roads and elections, and we wanted to have something possibly prepared for the presidential primary for roads. Ms. City Clerk, do you know when the cutoff for ballot language is for that? I know you're focused on an entirely different election right now, but you happen to know the cutoff.
I do.
for that?
For, now see, if it's February 27th, the ballot language has to be to the county by December 5th. And the proposed charter amendments have to go to the governor, they should have gone to the governor by September 12th. Now, if it's March 12th, the presidential primary, the ballot language has to be at the county by December 19th, and the proposed charter amendments should have gone to the governor by today.
Okay, so I think just timeline-wise, in the next month and a half, we should probably have the road discussion. Thank you.
Councilmember Bierman.
Thank you. I'll echo comments for condolences to the family members of our staff. And then also just the block party. My family, my children all really enjoyed it. The band was really good. It seemed really crowded. It was so much nicer to have it in the street again this year versus being in the parking lots. I really hope we continue that. I heard several people even say, like, why don't we do this more often? But obviously it doesn't make sense to do it, every weekend, but it did seem like really well attended and very, very nice weather.
Councilmember Sharp?
No comments tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Sure.
I already made it during the fire truck.
Councilmember Cullen Fox?
Thank you. I too would like to echo the comments about sharing my condolences with the Hennon and Surlis families. Also, congratulations to Sergeant Bennerman. And then thank and congratulate all those employees celebrating anniversaries, as well as thank Crystal for pursuing her MNC certification. That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Deputy Mayor Resnick?
Thank you, Mayor. Also, wish to congratulate Sergeant Brenneman on his promotion, and condolences to the Searles and Hamon family as well. Block Party was excellent. We really enjoyed it. I think that it's a good foreboding if this West End Park ever gets developed, what it could develop into. It was quite interesting. Some of the comments from people that were saying, why can't we just put this stage here permanently? Sort of thing. So it was very, very well attended. Weather cooperated, of course, and it gets better every year. One final question, Mr. Sigma. The cemetery pavers, we see all that work was done and now it sits. Any update for us?
He's got his head down.
He's checking the press.
Yeah, he was signed.
He knew this was coming.
Hot off the press. Yep, they should be back on site tomorrow is what he's promising, starting the leveling procedures. Hope to start block laying Thursday or Friday, depending on how the leveling takes effect. And then they'll be cutting all the corners. Hopefully by next week they'll be finished.
Okay, we'll remember that.
That's what
Mr. Meredith and I are getting impatient.
That's what he's.
No, I'm not. Not really.
We hope. We hope that there are no residents here for quite some time.
Great, thanks.
Wasn't planning on moving in for a while.
Here. Thank you.
All right, thanks. And I would like to wish my condolences to the Searles and the Hamon family for their losses, and congratulate Sergeant Brenneman on his promotion to sergeant. I'd like to congratulate and thank the 7 employees celebrating their work anniversaries. Like I just said a few minutes ago, I think we got the greatest staff around here, and I'll put our staff up against anybody around here. And congratulations to Crystal for attending and successfully completing the conference requirements to be the master clerk. And with that, do I have a motion to adjourn? So moved. All right, thank you. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Very good. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
The pictures, I think the students wanted to get a picture with council.
Okay, very good.